Okay, we're on the home straight, we're at the conclusion, and my lift is outside, so I have to get through this pretty quickly. Examples of poor conclusions. So I'm just going to highlight some things that have gone into conclusions in the project and shouldn't really have gone in, or that weren't, could have been improved. So here they talk about internal audit as one of the recommendations to how to, improve corporate governance or improve the company, but yet in the main part of the document they never mentioned internal audit. This was it here. So don't bring something into the conclusion that you haven't discussed in the main document. And this one here, like there's about, preparing the internal control. Internal control is a pretty big thing. Family controlling, strengthened independence, pay more attention to the audit committee, improve their independence, reduce the risk of conspiring. Okay, some of them are vague. There's too many. I haven't spelled aspirational right, but they're too aspirational. Like if you just concentrated on, as I say, 2 of these or 3 of these, link them back to the scandal and explore them in a bit more depth than just listing all these things, which is like a shopping list and doesn't show any great understanding. Now the problem with this was the conclusion was all a lot of if I were this and if I were that, which is okay, I don't mind that so much. It's not great academically, but it wasn't consistent with the rest of the document. The rest of the document is written quite academically, and this then jarred with the the remainder of the document. So be consistent in your style. I think you may talk about familiarity. I think someone might have said here, I'm talking too fast because I want to go and it's late, but anyway, they might have said that the problem was a fraud in both companies and left it at that, or even didn't. I said didn't make the connection. But there's different types of fraud. Was it top management, or was it a rogue employee like the likes of Bearings or AIB All First, where one lower level employee caused the damage, or as in other companies like Enron, Anglo-Irish Bank perhaps, WorldCom, where it was top management that were found to be, have acted maybe as they shouldn't have. And then what type of fraud was it? Was it stealing assets? Was it misstating the accounts? Was it, breaching rules as regards the amount of money they could trade? What was the type of fraud? This was pretty good writing and it was written in their own words, but I think the problem was it didn't really link back to the main body of the report and give examples. So too much reliance on rules. So I might have been a bit harsh here on this, but I think the problem with this conclusion was the whole conclusion was like this, in that they didn't really link back to the earlier part of the documents, pull out the key parts of the scandal that they felt were key, and the key recommendations. Things like this shouldn't be in the conclusion. Procedures of the Irish Accounting and Auditing's Supervisory Board, and explain about what they do. That's, if you want to talk about that, bring that up to the earlier part of the document where you explain about corporate governance and maybe about regulation of auditors. There's probably quite a lot of information on it that we don't need. You could paraphrase a lot of that, reduce that down, but it definitely shouldn't be in the conclusion. It's basic facts. Again here, basic facts, where they've listed in this 5 or 6 here, basic things on corporate governance. That should go into the area where you discuss corporate governance, and even still, you don't need all, maybe you could list some of those, but you wouldn't list them in the conclusion.